Thank you everyone for dealing with the slight time change tonight. The fire department has their NIMS training, and I wanted to go over just to represent the village briefly. Mike Mezzalise is there with Sergeant Matt at the moment. So just jump right in. First on the agenda we have Lincoln Tully to speak about Goshen Dam emergency repairs. Or Lincoln Tully?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh, okay. Someone just walked in. Was that John?
That's Art.
Yeah. Oh, that's Art. Okay. Art, how are you for everybody?
Separate off.
We have the Goshen Dam on the agenda. Are you speaking about that, or is John at work? Okay, excellent. Well, you're up. Okay.
Spillway, which is the area below the dam, where it overflows and comes down, washed out last year in Hurricane Irene, and we made an application to FEMA for some funds. That's okay, I'm good, thanks. For some funds to repair the dam. We estimated that the dam repair, thank you. Sure. I think we're in the range of about $35,000. It took FEMA a long time to get around to denying our claim. They wouldn't pay us anything for the dam repair. I think they said it was a pre-existing condition and they weren't responsible for it. So we heard that in September of this year, so it took several months for FEMA to get around to that. So right around the same time in September we got a letter from the DEC saying that the dam was unsafe and we had to make repairs to the dam, so we got the 1-2 punch. But it's going to be repaired under what FEMA calls an emergency application, which means that what we're doing is we're going out to 3 contractors and getting prices from 3 contractors for estimates to do the dam repair work. And I have that for you here.
Yep. There you go.
The 3 contractors, of the 3, TAM was the lowest bid at a little over $33,000. So it's coming in at what we had estimated it to be, which was around $35,000. The thing is, we've got 30 days under the emergency application to get the work done, with potentially a 30-day extension. But they say they don't like to give extensions, but I think we can get a 30-day extension if necessary. However, they're not going to issue the permit for the emergency application until the 21st of November, which gives us till the 21st of December to get the work done, and then potentially another 30 days after that. So Mike is starting this week on the work. He's going to build an access road into the dam area so that the contractor can get his equipment in there. And then we're hoping that TAM can get in, and well, I'm jumping ahead. You guys have to authorize TAM to do the work as the low bidder. And then we want TAM to get in there and do the work and get that finished before Christmas. So that's the game plan. So it's on the agenda tonight. If you want to take action tonight, we have time if you want to wait till next Monday's meeting as well. But because we're doing the road work this week, the contractor won't start until the following week. But either tonight or at the next regular board meeting, we would suggest that you take action to retain TAM to do the work, emergency repairs on the dam.
David, do we need a resolution prepared for that, or can we just vote on that?
You could vote on that this evening if you want. Just so the board's aware too briefly, and at an appropriate time, we can talk about this more. The law is a little bit different now in terms of you're not wedded to the low bidder. You're wedded to something called best value, which could be a combination of factors, including it's a little bit nebulous, but including the experience of the contractor and the work that's being proposed. But just be aware as we go forward in the future that we're no longer wedded to the low bidder. It's the best value is the standard now.
Thank you. Just in terms of moving forward tonight, do any board members have any questions they'd like to see answered before we move forward?
Well, let me ask this, although Tam the lowest bidder, aren't you confident in their ability to do this kind of work?
Yeah, we've seen them work in other areas. This is something a little bit beyond what they normally do, but in everything else that we've worked on with them, they seem to be confident in what they're doing, so yes.
Good. Good enough for me then.
Now, Art, your office has prepared the plans?
Yes.
So if you're interested in acting tonight, then I would advise the board that you could adopt a resolution authorizing TAM, awarding the contract to TAM, and authorizing them to perform the work as shown in the plans prepared by Lycantelli for a price not to exceed $28,148.
Okay, just in terms of moving things forward and keeping momentum, at least I'd be in favor of moving forward tonight. So if there's no board member reservations or unanswered questions, I'd like to have someone make that motion.
So moved.
So seconded.
All right, any further discussion, anything you want to add on that, Art, before we take action?
No, I think we're okay. You see the letter from John O'Rourke in my office, so yeah, I think we're fine. And that would be great, then we can get going, get them mobilized, and then get started on that right away.
Okay, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So Art, this is like the little tinsel paper that you get from the DEC?
Yeah.
They can't even type it in there, you just write it in there,
Well, it's an
village knows.
emergency, Pete. If you want him to type it, it's going to take another couple
Kind
of
of like
weeks.
what like the second grade teacher gives the kid a little certificate, says he did a good job on his spelling.
That's it.
All right. Anything else in the day, Mark?
That's it.
Pretty much covers it, right? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. And thank your office for the good work you guys always do for the village.
Thanks.
All right, moving along, we have to pass a resolution advertising the offices open for this year's election. So I'm just going to read through the resolution. Whereas the Board of Trustees must designate by resolution and publish the offices which are to be filled in the village election and terms thereof. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Goshen designates the following offices vacant at the end of the current official year to be filled at the village election to be held on March 19th, 2013 for the following terms. 1, Mayor for 2 years. 2, Trustees for 2 years. 1, Village Justice for 2 years to fill the remainder of the 4-year term. It is further resolved that the village clerk is hereby directed to publish this resolution in full in the Goshen Independent. This resolution will take effect immediately. Formal resolution was second, okay. Can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Pretty self-explanatory. Any discussion?
Just whether, I know MacDonald was in past, and I know we don't have an obligation, are we doing anything to publish in the Chronicle as well, or are we just...
Well, with this, I think we need to get it in. It's the earlier you can get it in, the better. And just because the published date is prior, so I think that's why that's in here, Meg. Is that accurate?
Fair enough. Just remember it coming up. That's all.
Right.
Okay. Other than that, nothing.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Can I have a motion on this? I got the motion. didn't I?
Yes, got that.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Next, quest proposal, the Salesian School. As you all remember, we had the joint meeting with the town of Goshen regarding Salesian Park in general, but a lot of discussion focused on the old building that's there. And we had talked about putting that to bid and getting a proposal to find out how much it costs to take it down. The asbestos report they had used at that time was outdated and not really sufficient. So what the town board did recently is they got a proposal from Quest to update this asbestos report. You should all hear the communication from George Lyons to Val Eisma, the town clerk, about it. Basically, the total amount would be $2,430, and the town is asking us to split the cost down the middle with them. It seems reasonable as both municipalities municipalities have a vested interest in the building. They passed this resolution, I believe, last Monday or the Monday prior. So really the ball's in our court. It's something we don't have to share the cost with them. I don't know what happens if we say no, but I certainly don't see any issues with this proposal as is right now. Just because certainly to get accurate understanding of the makeup of the building and concerns and all that, the asbestos is really the question mark that's hanging out there, and an updated picture of that is really essential to anything we do moving forward. So I'm not sure if there's any board member comment or questions on anything.
I think we had agreed to split the cost with them at the last joint meeting anyway, so.
We agreed to split the cost of preparing the remainder of the RFP, but this hadn't been discussed at the time. I think it was implied by...
Yeah, because we really can't do that.
Right, that's my interpretation.
I agree.
And that would also be consistent with the IMA between the town and the village in terms of costs incurred relative to the Solution Park, that they're, both sides are supposed to agree on them, then the cost is supposed to be equally shared between the town and the village.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm just going to read through the resolution that the town of Goshen passed. And I'm going to try to remember to change the word town to village as I read this. Okay. Whereas the village board of the village of Goshen has previously authorized Quality Environmental Solutions and Technologies to conduct certain environmental testing and prepare abatement design services with respect to asbestos issues relating to the cleanup of the Salesian property located in the village of Goshen, and whereas effective 2012 additional laboratory testing and an update of the originally proposed and completed 2005 asbestos report is required in the nature of approximately 20 additional laboratory samples and tests, and whereas said additional laboratory samples and testing by Quest will cost an estimated $2,430, of which half the cost will be responsible of the village of Goshen and half of the town of Goshen. The village of Goshen wishes to authorize the payment to Quest of its 1/2 share of the aforementioned amount to be complete the pertinent additional laboratory samples and testing. Now therefore it is resolved that the village of Goshen does hereby authorize Quest at an estimated cost not to exceed $2,430. 1/2 shall be the responsibility of the village of Goshen. 1/2 shall be responsibility of the town of Goshen to perform approximately 20 additional laboratory tests and complete a 2005 asbestos report with respect to the Salesian property located in the town and village of Goshen. Can I have a motion on this? And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Two more things. We've talked in the past about making a reduction to the sewer assessment based on money that's been saved, based on the 2.5-year loan forgiveness from the state, and also the lower cost of the environmental benefit project, and the settlement with the state coming in at less than we had originally thought. The reality is we just don't need as much revenue, fortunately, because of those hurdles that we've overcome at this point. I've talked to the village accountant, and I've talked to Sarah Winters, our treasurer, and we had tossed around different figures, high being 40, low being 25, and they feel most comfortable with a reduction of $30 quarterly, and that would still end us with over $500,000 annually for infrastructure. That wouldn't be a reduction in that line, because we know there's still a lot of pipes to be replaced and all that, and investigation still to do. So this amount would not eliminate any of that cost, and in fact, reducing it to 30 would still allow us to have slight additional monies at the end of the year for rainy days if we do find any large sewage breaks that spend more than that. So 30 is the amount they're recommending, 30 is what I feel comfortable with, but to do that we do have to have a public hearing, even for reduction. So just wanted to get some feedback from the board if that is amenable to everyone, and if so, then I'd like to pass a resolution tonight and schedule the public hearing.
So all for schedule a public hearing.
All right.
So this public hearing specifically would be to amend or to reduce the sewer assessment from $170 per unit per quarter
to $140
per unit per quarter.
That's correct.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Meg, what's the date of the public hearing?
December 10th?
December 10th. So, all right.
Actually, my only question about that date was just to make sure it's a good date for everybody, because I think it's a very important topic that everyone would want to be here for. You're here?
Yeah.
Beach, you're here?
When is it?
December 10th?
Yeah.
You'll be here. Okay, just want to make sure.
I don't travel, so.
It's important to everyone.
I work in the restaurant business. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, wonderful. We do have an executive session. Were you guys supposed to be on the agenda tonight?
Just get trees.
Oh, the trees, okay. Are you guys representing?
No, we weren't on the agenda.
Oh,
but,
okay.
We wanted to just take a moment of your time to discuss a matter, if it's all right with you tonight.
Generally, we don't put things on the agenda kind of as is. Maybe you and I can sidebar in a moment.
Okay.
We can talk.
Yep.
Just because
Okay.
procedurally, that's just generally not how we
Okay.
operate. But let's just get back to the other thing. Yeah, the tree thing, the timber harvesting, I don't think we're prepared to take action on tonight, but just to let the board know, we did get the bids back for the tree harvesting on the 17M site, and the high bid came in at $51,000, which is obviously a very nice chunk of change for the trees there. And again, this is just picking and choosing various trees. It's not a clear cut that had been discussed originally. We decided for aesthetic purposes, environmental purposes, and regulatory purposes that we weren't going to do a clear cut. So this is just taking out trees that would be on areas that would be ripe for building on the site. Which to me, $51,000 is a lot of money, and then we could put that money towards getting the project approved in terms of through the planning process, bringing it through the original stages and making it that much more marketable. I know that just internally, before we made a final decision on this, a vote on it, we got these numbers, and we do want to talk to the realtor that is representing the village and just saying, hey, how is this going to impact the potential sale of the property? I intuitively would think it would help it, because then we could get it further in the approval process, but we just want to make sure that there's nothing that we're not thinking about, and just talk to this professional before we move on it. One thing...
That's a lot more money than what originally thought.
Yes, it is, absolutely. One thing that we do have to be cognizant of, and it's not a huge deal to me, but we have to be aware, generally these companies, when they come in, they trim the sides off the trees, the tops, they cut it, and they take it out, and the rest they remain. So we would either have to use in-house labor or contract out to eventually get rid of that stuff if we wanted to. We could leave it there, but, to make it appealing, it's probably better to get rid of it eventually. Certainly, it's not going to cost anywhere near the amount we're going to get from this, so I think it still makes sense. But, the area does get beat up in terms of there is a lot of brush that is left remaining.
So they leave the upper part of the tree maybe that isn't usable in the stump.
And the sides, too, the branches.
Yeah, I learned more than I wanted to know on when I represented Chester in the harvesting operation, the illegal harvesting operation. So the mayor is correct. They cut the top, they trim the branches. It's called deadfall. They leave it. They're gonna cut it at about 3 or 4 feet height. They're gonna leave the stump there, and they're gonna take the good wood that they can make money off the site. The rest of it remains.
And to be clear, it's not a matter of, then we would have to remove every single stump that's there. I think we want to get rid of the loose stuff. But frankly, eventually it's going to be sold to someone anyway, and they'll deal with that as they will. The question is just, do we want to get the value out of the timber to make it more attractive now, or leave it there to the potential buyer to get that, monetary value out of it? So I think it makes more sense for us to get the money, then spend it, so it's not coming out of our general fund or any other line item of the taxpayers. It almost becomes a self-sustaining type thing. Does anyone have any questions on that?
My question is I just want to make sure that we're in the procedural aspects of this where we're as correct, because I don't want someone to come out saying like we busted up the habitat, some tree frog or something like that.
Right.
And we end up, litigating about something else. So is there anything that we need to explore as far as that goes, where where we're not going to end up in trouble with DEC or something because we allow these people to come in and cut up this wood?
Absolutely. Well, that was the original concern about doing the clear cut. Art, do you want to kind of speak to that?
Yeah, well, we retain the services of a gentleman by the name of Cliff Asdale.
Right.
And he's a consultant, a harvest consultant. And he's the one that put together the bid, he's the one that went out to bid, and he's the one that received the bids. He's also the one that's supposed to be checking to make sure that any permits that are necessary would be obtained. So one of the things we're going to do is when we meet with the real estate is also have him here with the broker and probably with Dave and review any of these issues with him as well, Pete. So yeah, we're all concerned about that. He advises us that he doesn't think any permits are necessary. He's done similar work for said the city of Middletown, Port Jervis, other municipalities, they're all, trying to harvest wherever they have the ability to the woods so that they make a few extra bucks.
Yeah, I mean, just my concern would be that we're not putting ourselves out there where we have an issue.
Right.
That somebody comes back down the road and says you shouldn't have done this.
Right.
Has that ever happened before, Pete?
You know it has happened before.
What are you talking about?
Every week in the newspaper, there's someplace there's something that's going on.
Well, we'll look into that, Pete. Yes. But he's the guy that's supposed to be the expert in this.
And Dave can kind of understand where I'm coming from. We've had a lot of experts in the past, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
So the only thing left, we're going to have an executive session for a personnel matter? Is that what it is?
We're actually going to have an attorney-client session to get legal advice, but I think before that, we're going to need to take action. That's what I just talked to the mayor about. And we'll go over when he's back in here, only because, we had a law firm indicate that they're not going to represent us anymore, because they may be a witness in a pending matter. So we need to hire a new firm, then we need to bring them in to get their advice on the pending matter.
All right. We have one more item on the agenda. I'm going to turn it over to David. This is something we can still talk. We got to talk about.
That's correct, because I think, I'm going to ask the board to take action before we go into the attorney-client session. You all know we have a pending labor issue that's been pending for some time, in which the village has been represented by the firm, Stuart Waxman's firm, who's been our labor attorney for a number of years. Mr. Waxman has indicated that this firm can no longer represent us because there is an agreement at issue in this particular litigation, the content of which is being called into question. The result is that his firm may be called as a witness regarding the meaning and interpretation of this agreement. So the upshot of that is we have to retain new counsel. Now, there was a court appearance that was scheduled for last week, and in fact, our answer was due last week in the lawsuit. I was able to secure an adjournment of the answer, but not the court appearance. So what I did is I utilized the firm that I've used many times in the past when either there's been a matter that I'm not comfortable handling or when I need a recommendation for a conflict. And that firm is Bonisic, Krahulik, McMahon, somebody, and it ends with Brady. Trustee Brady's brother is a member of that firm. Now, I've used Mr. Bonisic's firm, as I say, a number of times in the town of Hamptonburg. So I called Scott and I asked him if his firm would be willing to appear on our behalf. And first, if they did this type of work, the answer was yes. If they'd be willing to appear on behalf of the Village of Goshen, the answer was yes. So they went to court on our behalf last Thursday. I would encourage the board to utilize the services of the firm. Mr. Galvin, Jim Galvin from the firm would be the attorney. That would be the point person. But we need to retain them because there is action on this file. Active litigation regarding this file, and we do need an attorney to represent us. Trustee Brady would not be able to vote on the matter, and notwithstanding the fact that his brother is a partner of the firm, I do wish to emphasize my comfort level with this firm, the fact that I've reached out to them many times in the past, that I highly recommend them to you, and I would encourage you to retain their services in this matter. And they've already bailed us out of a tight spot because, quite frankly, it wasn't beneficial when we were essentially had another firm bail on us at the last minute. So I would ask you to retain the services of Bonasek, Krahulik, et al. I believe at the hourly rate that I charge for litigation, which is $195 an hour, to represent the village in this pending labor matter.
Not only am I familiar with a lot of the partners there, with Scott, with Pete McMahon, a lot of the individuals there, I've had countless number of matters over the years with Mr. Galvin, who's been codependent with me in matters. He's an excellent attorney. Very well, what would I say?
Codependent.
Co-counsel. Hopefully not codependent. But, yeah, he's very, very experienced in these types of matters, so I think they're an excellent choice.
I've been briefed on this by David a few times, and I'm comfortable with this. Surely it comes to the board if anyone has any questions at this point.
Well, so yeah, David, you and I talked about a lot of the potential firms too. There aren't many that deal in this area of law.
There are not.
Simply.
There are not. I mean,
could come down to a very complex labor question.
Absolutely. And I should say that the recommendation from Mr. Waxman's firm was an attorney in Garden City. And I really couldn't recommend that we pay to bring someone up to Garden City to represent our interests. And I was not familiar with that individual or with the firm. This firm I'm very familiar with and have used many times in the past.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Okay. All right. Now we have executive session. Does any board members have anything else for tonight? Okay.
Could I just say, just to bring everybody up to speed, we, in regards to the water supply, we went out to bid on water meters for the village. Unfortunately, only one company put in the bid, which was
These are the remote readers?
Yeah, yes, for the residential units and a couple of commercial units as well in the village. And we're in the process of evaluating that bid. The numbers, the dollars are all right, but we're not sure whether or not they meet the specifications as outlined in the bid for the meters. So we're going through that, and we'll have something to report to you, and maybe we'll talk prior to the next board meeting and bring you up to speed. But we should have something for you at the next board meeting on where to go.
Those are the meters that they don't have to go into the house to read them.
Crawl space.
Right.
Or not crawl space.
All right. Well, I will ask for a motion to go into executive session and to do no business after we return.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Blah, 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 blah.